Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So I hope you've had a really nice weekend. It's Sunday. You don't really normally see content here on a Sunday. If you do, it's normally a good reason. Historically, this kind of setup that I'm seeing happening has always led to good things for our blockchain. And if we're looking historically, looking at the data that we've seen previously, we've always, as a blockchain, we tend to run outside of the normal. We've always sort of moved against Bitcoin, especially when it's been going down. A lot of the times we've come up like that. It's been around times nothing crazy has really been going on in the market. But I personally think there's a lot of good talk going on. There's a lot of positive reinforcement out there. And the LUNC community is pretty substantial at this point. I'm starting to notice this in relation to other cryptocurrencies. So we've got a lot of good stuff going on. We've got a lot of locked in liquidity. We've got a lot of locked in supporters. So let's take a quick look at crypto bubbles on the day. It's mostly red. Like I was saying, the times when we see breakouts with technical backing like this, historical data, it really does start to show me signs of a possible setup being prepared once again. So let's take a quick look at the fear and greed index quickly as well. Just want to get everybody on par with what's kind of going on. Maybe you've been away over the weekend. I understand if you're totally up to date with all of these things. It's sitting at 60, it's sitting greedy. At the moment, my personal opinion and what I'm preparing for is there's going to be a substantial dip. I'm lining up dry powder, I'm getting things ready, but I'm also looking at different things to get invested in. I'm always looking for things to get in at the bottom. Now, with LUNC, I'm very fortunate. I've held a substantial amount of LUNC from the very beginning. I've been building it up and doing what any smart person in the community does. You stake, you stake, you stake, you stake, and your dollar cost averaging just comes for free at that point. You keep auto compounding, and before you know it, you're building up a very nice bag to hold. I, like most people, sold some of it at the top, but I also bought in very recently. I shared this out on my Patreon alongside a load of other portfolio updates that I do. So like I was saying, right, there is a technical setup going on, a real decent technical setup. But what I want to do first is show you the previous setup. This is just before the run in October last year, just before we run up by, I think it was about 480% for LUNC. And I think USTC run by nearly like 800% if you're talking about from the very bottom. But what we need to look at here, and I'll try to leave a link to it, no doubt YouTube algorithm will bring it up when I say it, but if you look at my previous video just before this big price action happened, I more or less called this. I explained that there had been a Dragonfly doji set up. Everything looked good on the chart in comparison to what I know and what I've learned about dojis, whether they're them being bullish, part of a bigger setup. I personally think this is happening again. My own personal opinion, I'm preparing for it, and I believe I've possibly caught the bottom again, which is really good. You feel happy when you're positive moving into things like this. So like I said, we've got a doji here. This was back. This was the one that I called in the video. Just before this, we saw a very small head and shoulders pattern play out. This is all on the day chart. We saw a decent run, and what we're looking for now is a decent candle to set up a bull flag. Okay, and this is what I think is currently playing out. We're going to be looking for something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 play out, an impulse wave. That's going to be really important, and that's going to give the indicators that you really need to try and trade this pattern that's playing out. And these patterns do play out over time. This is the day chart. This isn't an hour chart or anything. So like I said, we've been in a falling wedge off of this really substantial run that we saw from our all-time low. We seem to have bounced out of this now. We were coming down. We tried to break out once before up here, failed, tried again here back in January, failed, tried here later again in January, failed again, came down, failed again later January, coming down now. We've just printed just 4 days ago a nice green doji dragonfly, and we've seen a good candle after this followed by a much stronger candle. So now let me take you on to the day chart. Let's look at the hourly, what's going on. What we really need to see right now moving forward is to stay above this area and stay within this pattern. And like I said, we could be possibly seeing a much bigger setup going on. So a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, you know, it's popped. That's all it's got to give. I think there's possibly a bigger play going on, and we could be aiming for a very big breakout. And if we measure the previous breakout from the point of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we measure that up, that gives us around 270%. So if we take that 270%, we take it from the bottom of this candle, we're just averaging out here, you know, that's going to take you above. And what I'm aiming for is still this area of getting above 30,000 points per coin. This is going to be a really, really important area because we've never got up here. We've only been in this area in a falling pattern. So it wasn't something that we've held. It wasn't something that we sat around in. So we don't have any support lines. But after this point, there becomes no real resistance in that term. So the price theoretically could keep going higher. We are going to be limited by our market cap, the amount that could be valued in per coin. So don't sit there and think to yourself, it's all going to go to $1, because that's absolutely impossible unless someone's going to throw $7 trillion suddenly into LUNC, which would outweigh the total crypto market cap as a whole. So that's definitely not happening. We do need to get the supply down. But like I said, there's a lot to gain throughout this. I personally think this is a bigger setup that's going on. It's definitely looking bullish, but what we do need to see, like I said, was to remain above this falling wedge line. And it's going to be so important. If we can hold that, the likelihood is over the next few days, we'll fall down through this pattern and then see a setup and then hopefully see a substantial run. So you're going to probably want to, maybe if you're involved in LUNC, prepare for this. If you're thinking about pulling stuff out, maybe you would want to maybe on Delegate now, so you're not doing it during the massive movement. But like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. These are all the different things that I'm thinking about, what I'm preparing for, and kind of what I'm going to be doing as this starts to play out. But there you go. You've got a real historical indicator, a real good technical indicator there that something big is going on. We've broken this falling pattern and we could possibly moving off to an uptrend, leading, I hope, to a possible 200% plus pump. Folks, other than that, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. Drop a comment, drop a like, drop a sub if you haven't already. Those things really help out the channel. Patreon links below. You can delegate your LUNC with us if you feel like it. That would really help us out. We've got our own Autocompounding at hccfactory.com. Don't forget about the giveaways here. 10,000 USTC every month and 1 million LUNC every month, split between 3 of the top commenters. So all you've got to do is drop comments below and you're entered. It's as simple as that. We'll contact you if you're a winner. Everybody's happy. Catch you in the next one. Ciao.